Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday Live and Mail Call here at the Railroad. As all you know, my name's Steve, and my co-host is down in the basement, Mr. C and EI John. We'll bring him up here in a second. I'm hoping my sound is good, and I do have the background, Mr. John Mystic Railroad's favorite background music playing, and it's right now it's between loops. We'll let her run. Sounds good. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Always need that sound check just to make sure. Mystic, hopefully, good afternoon. Well, it's not afternoon here, James. Not yet, anyway. Getting close, but not yet. Technically, anyway. And I think you're in Ontario, so it's probably not afternoon for you either. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? So, anyway, today's subject, of course, is YouTube meet and greet out in Greely, Colorado, coming up. And let me bring up my co-host here. John, how you doing?
Pretty good. How's everybody today?
I'm wonderful.
Great music, Steve. Great music.
I think so. Hello, Ron Montague. Ron's a new subscriber. Thank you, Ron, for joining us today. Don't hesitate to speak up, ask questions, and have fun. Anthony Dodge, how you doing? Don't forget Anthony's live stream at 3:30 today, guys. I usually miss the majority of it live because it's right at our
Nap
dog.
time.
Well, it's right at our dog. Nah, I'm over my naps by then. But it's right at when we take our dog Penny to the dog park every day, because that's when all of our friends are there. Hey, Lee, how you doing? Welcome, of course. And Lee has a variety of live streams. I participate typically in the Sunday, noon our time, 5 o'clock his time. All right. So I haven't seen Mystic come back on yet. He's probably waiting for me to turn the music off. So let me get the music muted there. All right. So John, what's been going on with you this week?
Oh, a lot of stuff with my father-in-law. So
Yeah, we
not
missed you
much
last
done.
week.
Well, I was there. I just wasn't live. But,
There's Mystic.
did you hear that, Mystic? Did you hear the music just for you?
No, he waited to come back on until the music was off. So.
No, Steve and I had been discussing my roundhouse, which I'd started when I was in Florida, but I only had 6 stalls down there. I'm expanding to 18, and I was noticing that my track spacing in the newer section of just the base foundation was off. It was farther or closer away from the track. So Steve and I were discussing it last week, and Steve, I did take your advice. I set a template up there, but it still seems to be off. I don't know if that template was made for the modern roundhouse, and I have to adjust it for the older style roundhouse like you have. But when I get over there in the northeast quadrant, it seems to be off again.
Well, John, we have the same roundhouse kits, right?
Yeah.
We have the same turntable, right?
Yes. 110
and mine work, right?
Well, yeah.
What's that tell you?
It tells me I'm doing something wrong. And I'll be the first to admit it, too. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
I guarantee all you got to do is adjust those bases. All right.
That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to move them around, but it seems like I get one lined up at a 10-degree mark, and three away is not at the 10-degree mark.
Mine lined up perfectly. As I put them together, they lined up perfectly. Now, I don't care if they are each track is at 10 degrees or not. That didn't bother me. I just lined them all up, made sure they're at the same distance away from the turntable,
Hmm.
and then ran the tracks out, and wherever they came out onto the turntable is fine. All right, because
Okay.
you're gonna it doesn't have to be at 10-degree intervals
Okay.
precisely because you're gonna program the turntable to stop precisely at each track, regardless of what angle it's at.
Yeah, maybe I'm just overthinking it, I guess. Uh,
I would venture to say probably so.
that's the
And
engineer in me. I
I
overthink
was just
it.
gonna say that. This,
Uh,
Don, the grand
yeah,
scope of thing,
yeah.
grand scope of things, this is a very simple engineering project.
Yes, it should be. That's for sure.
For those
I
that don't know it, John and I dish it out to each other on a day-to-day basis. So it's his turn today. He is he is a licensed PE, by the way, or was. I don't know if
I still am in Florida until the 28th of this month, and I will be in Tennessee until a year and 4 months from now.
see, there
So
you go. Licensed engineer coming to this poor retired old fart.
yes,
So
yeah, yeah. Oh
gotta
well.
love. Hey, Jared, how you doing, buddy?
But now Steve did have some engineering courses, so
Yeah,
he's smarter than the average guy.
yeah. 3 years, and then I said, I really don't like this. change change my major.
Yeah, but it was fun while it lasted. But I'm glad to be retired now.
So
Maybe I can
Jared,
work more on my layout.
Jared, for those who don't know, Jared lives down by I believe it's Burlington, Iowa, and he was going to go to the Monticello train show, and which is where Carol and crew from Caboose Stop Hobbies were. So uh, I've been curious as to how many truckloads of stuff Jared walked away with from the show.
Yeah, I think I'd have a problem living too close to them. It's like living close to Zitniks. I was over there 3 times a week buying
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what's nice about me. I'm an hour away, 45 minutes to an hour away, so it's I don't hop over there very often. But on the flip side of that, it's way too easy to use Amazon and eBay,
Yeah.
or
Well,
any other internet supplier. So
I have a buddy down there,
very good,
Howard.
Lee.
Howard that used to work at Zitniks. He goes down and fills in every once in a while. He lives up here in Tennessee now.
I knew
So,
that's where he was moving to. I didn't know how far away from you. I thought he
well,
probably in Knoxville more. Or
no, he's past
Beaverville.
Knoxville. He's in Johnson City.
Oh yeah, okay. I got
Yeah.
a good friend in Johnson City.
But they had the big um, oh, what's the name of the place? The big retirement community up there by Wildwood. The lakes. Is that it? You know
There's
what I'm
all kinds
talking
of
about.
retirement. There's all
Well,
kinds of retirement communities.
it's the huge one that has like 7 golf courses and all that. Anyway, they had a big train show there, and Zitniks, they have their supply that they only take
Hey, Brian at Angel's Hair. Go ahead.
to train shows. They don't ever put out in their stores. So I told him, I said, now, Howard, go through everything, and I want stuff that's CNEI, and usually they have flat cars there, which is the only place I've ever found the CNEI flat cars. So he didn't find any of them, but he did find me a boxcar. But he's also
I
doing.
one the other day and figured you already had a bunch of them. Jared, I did watch that. He was selling stuff left and right. Hey, Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, so he's also doing some shopping at Zitnik's for me, and he's going to deliver it to me. Now
Cool.
it's an hour and a half out of his way, but he's going to come by on his way back. So then one weekend he went.
I bet you it's not that far out of his way because at Chattanooga you just go due north out of there instead of north northeast,
Yeah,
and it comes right up into
Sparta.
Sparta, yeah,
Yeah,
and then you cut back over to your place, and that's on the way to Crossville. So,
yep, that is true. But yeah, he's going to pick me up some of the Plastistruck glue. It's only $5.31 at Zitnik's and $14 online.
I got that tip of the day in the hopper waiting to go on MEK substitute. I love that stuff. It works great and it's cheap. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. But since you haven't had the tip of the day yet, I don't know what to buy. So
not like we haven't talked about that too. So
no, not a bit. You keep all your secrets to yourself until you put them out on the live stream.
yeah, I know that's your story and you're sticking to it.
Yes, yes. But yeah, he's got a train club over there in Johnson City that he wants me to come over some weekend. He'll take me to, and then he wants to come here sometime and go to my train club. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah. Howard's a good guy.
I'm still looking for your replacement. I can't find anybody.
Well, if anybody's near Riverview and wants a fun time running trains, go to Steve's.
That's right. It's an open invitation. That's for sure.
Yeah, just don't have the scale knuckle coupler heads, the 158s. They don't work. They don't work on Steve's layout. I found that out the hard way.
Yeah. And the problem with them is that they don't have the same tolerance to grade changes that the 148s have. Being a little bit bigger, the 148s will stay coupled going over a incline, a transition, either way. So 148s or 5s, which are the standard size heads, have more tolerance. So, but then on the flip side, John only had like one or two cars that had the scale heads.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Everything else he had was the standard heads.
Oh, so, but I did have it on a couple of engines too, so they did.
Yeah, but we changed all that out, didn't we?
I can't remember if we did or not. We may have.
Hey, Nisi, come run trains with me. I was just saying I can't find a replacement for John. You're the closest that I know of. I keep telling you need to come over anytime. We'll run trains. So running ops are a lot more fun with multiple people. So anyway.
Yeah, and Steve has a problem keeping track of multiple people, though.
I have a problem keeping track of where the switches, which way the switches are thrown. And the sad thing in that equation is there's two big diagrams showing the relative position of all the switches. So
yes,
not just diagrams; they're electronic views on a 47-inch TV and another on a Kindle, and of course you can even get it on the phone too. So that you're holding. So
yeah, but yeah, it's
well, hi. If you're ever coming over to Disney World, we're not that far away. We're only about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Disney, depending on traffic. That goes for anybody else from that's coming to Florida on vacation.
It's a fun layout to run on. He's got a lot of options for different paths to take, and
It can
it's
get
fun.
confusing.
Yes. So,
All right.
and Steve, what have you got done this week?
Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Yeah.
Behind me, right there. Nope, that's Union. That's Union Station.
Yeah.
Um, my last tip of the day was on building the U.S. Post Office, the main post office in Chicago. And keep in mind, my videos are like 2 to 3 weeks old by the time everybody sees them. So the main Chicago post office is substantially complete. It's not done, but it's substantially complete. That's what I've been working on. I still have some fine tuning and stuff to do on it. And of course, there's all kinds of stuff, more stuff to do on Chicago.
Yeah.
And
More people, right?
yeah, more people. I got to paint another 300 people. It really sucks. Here's the side view of the not post office of Union Station. I added that building in to the left there, the cream colored one. The brick one was there before, but that was made from extra pieces from the post office, and I've got much more to do on that as well. Well, come
Now,
on down, Kyle.
all these that you have along that back are removable, correct, Steve?
Yes, they're all, because that back section is removable. That divide, the scene divide, because behind it is the Van Buren Street station.
Right.
And so all those buildings come off, the scene divide comes off, and then that whole platform, that Union Station and the main Chicago Post Office, it's on hinges, so it lifts up so that you can get down into where the platforms are for Union Station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Bring it
could,
on down, Kyle.
unless you get your helix in, you've really maxed out your building there.
You're so funny. Helix.
Yeah.
There's nothing to support a helix.
Well, you could always run your track through your cabinets below and make staging yards down there.
Well, if I did, then I wouldn't have any storage capabilities. The layout would become non-functional because that's where all the electronic stuff is, and so that wouldn't be there. So none of that's going to happen.
Okay. We can try though, right? Try.
We can try to do it on yours.
Yeah.
Since you're in the building stage,
Yeah. Well, this is just my temporary layout still.
You're still flexible.
Yeah. I could actually run some track under my boards because they are up at 53 inches, so I do have some space under it. But I plan on putting a lot of shelves under there. And that's probably where all my electronics will go, all my power supplies and DCC system. So,
Jared, they're not excuses if I have no desire to do it.
more like reasons why you're not going to do it.
Yeah. And even if those reasons didn't exist, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
What I have is what I want.
Well, as some like to say, it is your railroad.
That's right. I could do that, John. I could put an H.O. Edmund Fitzgerald, cracked in half, of course, in the koi pond, which is Lake Michigan. But Edmund Fitzgerald went down in Lake Superior. So, well, I'd have to find a wreckage for Lake Michigan for it to be semi accurate.
Well, remember in Lake Michigan, there's supposed to be a train car full of Confederate gold.
In Lake Michigan,
Yeah. Hmm.
what what would Confederate gold be doing?
It was
In
shipped
Lake,
north.
why would it be on a ferry? I don't understand
I,
why it would be on a ferry.
you must not watch Beyond Oak Island then. So, yeah,
Um,
they did that.
to me, there has to be logic to these things, and
Yes.
there's no logical reason
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Confederate gold to be going across Lake Michigan because it
It
would have come
was.
up. It would have come up either to Michigan or to Illinois. It wouldn't go to Michigan and then across the lake to Illinois or Wisconsin. They
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah. You need to watch it. So yes. It was a
Yeah.
Union general that got the gold that was supposedly with, um, the Confederate president. His name just went.
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis, when he was captured, he supposedly
Uh,
had gold with him, and that Union
ah,
officer took it north and was going to transport it from Michigan over to Illinois, and supposedly the train
so why
car.
did it go to Michigan? Because
I
Jefferson
don't know.
Davis was captured in Georgia. All right,
Correct. Yes.
and
It's
you wouldn't go to Michigan to get, and then you just wouldn't
it,
do it.
it's just the story, Steve. I'm just telling you what the
You know,
story is.
and the story is to me not believable because it doesn't make any logical sense.
Well,
None,
if
none
you listen to
whatsoever.
the program, it may make some sense to you because they do key in a lot of people that had contact with it. That and one of the generals up there was became rich all of a sudden, and he opened banks and supposedly it was stored in the basement of his bank for a while. It's a long story. Sorry, I digressed. But you could model that in the bottom of your koi pond.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
exactly, Joe. It's called TV.
yes.
Yeah, I thought somebody heard it on the internet. Bonjour.
No, no, not internet, but um, it's a good program though. And then let's see. I don't.
Somebody needs somebody needs to get a globe or a map.
Hmm.
It's like Ron White, the comedian. He talks about his agent setting him up to take a plane from Beaumont to Houston. Yeah, he says
Hmm.
somebody needs a globe. He got on the plane at the uh, hair care something something and tire center at the airport. And Beaumont and Houston, shoot, what, 30 miles, 45 from the between them, between the metroplex and that. Maybe not from downtown. Downtown might be a little longer, but here or
Now,
there.
Lynn has a good idea for you. Um, just drop some of your engines in there.
I got some I'd like to drop in there right now.
uh,
I'm having issues with one, two, three of my Proto 2000E units.
Still, thought you.
Yeah, I thought I had it fixed, but
Yeah.
I'm still having problems. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is pulling those chips out and rewiring them all with Keep Alives and put new decoders in. So
Yeah, but it seems funny that all three of them are doing the exact same thing. So I was.
yeah, but they didn't start doing it at the exact same time.
Mm,
All right. So I thought that it possibly could be that I had the sound turned up too high on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a while, if I just muted them, they'd run fine. So I thought if I had the sound turned up too high, I was drawing too many amps and overheating and something like that. So I turned them all down, but they may be damaged to the point now where it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And did you
And
buy all three of those decoders at the same time?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no. They're all the same type of decoder,
Okay.
same model. So why was that, Jared? Why did your decoder blow out on your Genesis? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, JB, have a great day.
I did have a decoder go bad. It went off the end.
So, Jared, when you say it went bad, what went bad with it?
Well, mine that went bad, I shorted it. Luckily, it was new enough that I sent it back to the manufacturer and they replaced it free.
Yeah, see, mine are all, I got circuit breakers on all mine. So, something shorts out, it's going to pop one of the breakers. So I'm not concerned about that. But that said, if a decoder overheats, all right, it can go bad without creating a short per se. Let's say the motor control goes out, because all of them, the lights still work. So it's still got power to the decoder and through the lighting circuit. Okay, and it's not tripping the breaker. All right, but that doesn't mean it hasn't screwed up the motor control.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one that overheated. Luckily, it didn't melt the shell any, but it definitely got hot in there. It was smoking, and smoking on a non-steam engine that doesn't have a smoke generator in it is bad. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, go ahead and send me a link, Lee. I'll be there. Now I did hear of a situation where a person using a soldering station, similar, if not the same as this one, and I forget the brand name. It's a common brand name. I know that. But anyway, had an internal short. It still worked, but had some kind of internal short. And a guy kept blowing decoders. All right, and I'm not going to say the brand name of the decoder, but kept blowing decoders. And he contacted the manufacturer. And the manufacturer sent an engineer out because they couldn't figure out why it was doing it. And what they found out was when the guy was doing installs and the soldering thing had the short in it, it was frying the decoders. All right, so the moral of that story is, if you're going to be soldering, unplug the chip. Don't go soldering when the chip is plugged in. So
I guess that'd work unless you were soldering on the chip.
Right.
Yeah. And I have heard that story also. My soldering station is, I bought it online, and it's one of the Chinese-made ones. And
yeah, I want to say Hakko or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that that can happen when you're working on chips if your soldering station does have a short in it.
Well, you want to show us what you got this week, John?
Well, sure. One is actually not from this week. It was actually last week, but I wasn't on, so I couldn't show it. This one came from Florida, and it's got Steve's name on it. Yes.
Oh my!
Yeah, so I wonder what that is. Um, it is one of his war emergency hoppers that he doesn't know how to change numbers on his freight cars. So I got this one because it was a dual number. But Lynn, he didn't even put it together for me. He did make sure that it did have metal wheels in the pack. So at least he's getting a little better at that.
Didn't I send you whisker couplers too?
Uh, I'm not. Yeah, I thought you said you did. Yeah. No, wait. I can't see them. Um, yeah, they're in there. Yeah, number fives though. He wouldn't give me any his good 148s, but he did make
I'm
me
out of
a
148s.
coal load or a gravel load for it.
There you go. See?
So I appreciate that, Steve. Uh,
You're
I'll
welcome.
clean I'll clean up the
And
edges so it goes in and out of the car. Okay.
yeah, you got to stand it down a little
Yeah.
bit. Now everybody, all these people know better than to believe I don't know how to change lettering and such on rail cars because they've watched me do it before.
Yeah. Sure. That's that's the story I got from the person, and I got to believe what he says.
Yeah.
But that will be my first CB&Q car on my
And
layout.
everybody needs a CB&Q car.
Yeah, it's just like everybody needs a CNEI car. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Indiana did have a very large coal production during the time period that I model, which is mid to late 40s, and
As did
the
Illinois. Illinois is still
yeah,
producing coal.
yeah, and I believe Indiana is also. But back in the time, that's why the CNEI stuck with um, steam engines for so long. They kept theirs because they had an ample coal supply that they could get. Um, some of your other states and railroads that didn't have that coal supply changed to diesel quicker. So that's why I have a lot of steam engines in my stalls.
I just wanted to show Lynn that yes, I it's actually on the railroad.
Mm,
It, everything's installed. It's entered in JMRI and being used.
very good. Mine I still got to put together because Steve didn't put it together for me, Lynn. I don't understand it.
Well, and then I got pickup the pickup truck he sent too.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Heath, I did show the proper way to do an unboxing. It didn't take an hour and 15 minutes to unbox. Thank you, Lynn, for pointing that out.
Is Heath here? I didn't see him come in.
He may not be, but Lynn sent him a message. So maybe you'll watch it in the reruns.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have another unboxing. It's not really a box, but I get my decals from K4 decals. Whoops. And I have found them to be very good decals. He did a new decal set that I'd been wanting to find. It has the CNEI colored football shaped emblems that a lot of the steam engines had closer to the end of the steam period. So I was happy to find them finally, and I I got 4 sets of them, so that was a little bit. But K4 does very good on the decals, and if you've got a oddity railroad that no one else has because there's not enough of them to print, try K4 on either eBay or just directly online because he sends them out quick. He gives discounts when you buy multiple packs. Usually it's free shipping. So try them out if you have a decal need.
Joe, I don't know whether I won anything. I was trying for that bus. Don't know if I won it or not, and I don't ever go back and look at the replay to figure it out. And then it seems like every item I wanted, Jason was bidding on, and so I'm not sure I won anything. I think I did get a stock car. I can't remember what road name. But anyway, I think I got a stock car for one of those $4 kits or whatever. We'll see. So
Of
just
course,
add it to my box.
what they probably do, Steve, is since you never know what you've bought or not, what they probably do is just put whatever doesn't sell in your box and wait until they are ready to send them to you, so you don't know if you bought it or not.
Uh, Carol's too sweet to do something like that. I mean, because when I called to settle up and she's going through stuff, I said, I don't remember that. Well, if you don't want it, Steve, you don't have to take it. No, Carol, you say if you tell me I bid on or posted for it, I'll take it. I just don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one man's junk. All right, guys, one man's junk. All those little detail parts and stuff. Back in the day, before we had all these highly detailed proto models, those details were highly sought after, and because that's what you did. You took a blue box and then you detailed the thing out. So
I
now
still do.
that's not my cup of tea. I don't do that, but there's a lot of people that do enjoy that. Or they scratch build the cars and they need all those little detail parts.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that either, Jared. I think that's what they're trying to do is sell as much of that stuff as possible.
Yeah.
And and you never know. If they don't put it on a show, I watch and how many. It's amazing how many people bid on some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see them bidding on stuff and they haven't even showed it yet.
Well, I do that.
Yeah. Well,
you know why?
Well, I can't see the numbers though.
Well, other people can. You know why?
Why?
There depends on, like my phone. The picture and audio on my phone is like 3 seconds, which is huge, before it shows up on my TV or computer.
Yes, I've noticed that.
So if you're watching on the phone, you're gonna see it before other people do. I'm telling all my secrets, and they may be concentrating on a row right in front, but every now and then there's a glimpse to a row off to the right.
Yeah, that's true.
You see something you like, and you get the number on it. You bid on it before it shows up. So
yeah, and I like watching eBay for detail parts, big lots. Now, a lot of the time, I don't really need everything that's in the lot, but you never know what you can use it for. So
that's true too.
I see a cheap lot of one time I got 75 things. It was all Lilliputian parts. Of course, that's all British rail stuff, but you never know when you can use it in, like, my roundhouse I want to detail. So I could have these parts laying all over the place.
Be safe.
So
absolutely, John. Absolutely. So.
And even Zitniks, they had a lot of parts that were furniture for houses and buildings, tables.
All houses, yeah.
I went and bought every one that they had almost. I think I left like 10 packs left that I said, I can't use this for anything. So, yeah, but they were $1 a pack. It's
and I've said it a bunch of times. I typically don't detail out internals of buildings, with the exception of there's a few I have. Interlocking tower, I put a set of interlocking levers in it. The interlocking tower behind me has a guy in it, and it's got shades and stuff. And of course, Union Station is fully interior. But I think that's it. So just because there's too many other things to be looking at. Now, the hotel that's going here by Union Station, I want to put a couple of room scenes and probably a blinking red light in one of the rooms. And, with some naked ladies, but out of direct view of any little ones that may be down here. But adults would have the view of it. So
Yeah, I bought one of the packs of the naked people. My wife said, "Why did you buy them?" I said, "Well, you never know." uh, but
yeah, you go look earlier in the week, Jared.
well, that's not fair if he's right there.
Well, he's not right there, but he's a couple hours away. Or he calls Keith, "Hey, what's good this week?" That would be considered cheating.
Yes. See what else I don't know of anything else new that I've done this week because I haven't done much.
Well, that's usual.
Yeah, well, I'm still taking care of my father-in-law, so it's not as easy as just working on stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I've got to get on a warm day. I've got to put the background scene on here, and then that project that's a upcoming tip of the day,
hmm
John. I'm gonna use those for the other side.
yes, yeah, I've got a. I, I'm gonna try to find some of my buildings that I've already worked on and see if I can scan the front of them. Um, it may cause it to go, black around the outside edges, but you'd be cutting them out anyway. So,
Well, what you do, it affects the color because
mm,
you don't have the white lid closed.
right, okay.
So what you need to do is take some white paper and put it around the
Oh,
building,
okay,
okay, so that it does the white balance adjustment properly.
okay. I'll try to do that because I know I've got several taller buildings that you could probably use for your background buildings there behind Union Station. I think I got a 5-story, and I know I've got several 3 stories.
I've got the one that is directly behind the post office. I am gonna make some masonite um, walls
hmm
and use the scans that I have to put a veneer on it.
hmm
So
Thank you, Nisi. I'm glad somebody understands. I know Steve. Steve knows my whole story of what's been going on with me since I've been up here. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
not been the best move, but I'm still glad I did it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed that you did.
Yeah. Yes, I understand, and that is a big downside of that. You know, one was having a model railroad shop as close as it was, and two was having somebody to go run trains with. And I,
Yeah, we were just getting to the point where we were starting to work on your layout,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden, poof, you're gone.
yes, it was a quick move too. So, but
6 degrees. Brrr. I
well, I'm
remember
at
those days.
I'm at 48 degrees here. So,
I am at it's 80 outside and 81 where I'm sitting.
so you have no excuse not to do that backdrop scene.
You're right. I don't.
Yeah.
Other than I'm on the live stream with y'all.
Well, yeah, yeah, but later on today, don't take a
Well,
nap
no,
and work on that.
no, it's nap time after the live stream, and then it's dog walk time.
Oh, okay.
So I get
Excuses, excuses.
the majority of my work gets done between 8 and noon.
Mm,
After that, hey, I am retired. I don't.
yeah. And then you have all
Read-
that duty for your HOA.
yes, I do.
Yeah. I don't know why you would want to do that.
Cause I'm a glutton for punishment, man.
Well, yeah, but you could work on your railroad more.
Well, doesn't mean squat if the whole neighborhood goes to hell in a handbasket because
Well.
nobody's guarding the gates, so to speak. I saw where Athearn is totally retooling an upgrade to their ready-to-roll F7 shells.
Mm.
But they will not be backwards compatible.
Oh, okay.
They're compatible forwards. In other words, you can take the old ones, the old chassis. No, they were explaining something. You can take the old shells and put it on a new chassis, but you can't put the new shell on an old chassis, which is the way, if I wanted there to be some kind of compatibility, I'd want to buy the new shells and put it on the old chassis.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. And, something I don't understand why they don't do is, they'll usually make 3 or 4 numbers for the engines. Why don't they sell them with all the detail work done except for the numbers and just supply a number sheet with it? So they would probably sell more engines that way. People just number their engines that they need.
I just wish they would supply them with KD couplers.
Yeah.
And, if you're buying a Genesis, they ought to give you scale heads and regular heads, a set of both. What? That's going to break their bank with $2 per item.
Yeah. Well, they probably got some deal where they're only paying like 10 cents for the couplers that they get. Of course, that's about what they're worth. And they don't want to change that. But I agree with you. It's you pay enough for an engine. What's another $5 in it?
And you're paying that kind of money for, at least for like a Genesis, you shouldn't have to pay for upgraded couplers. You're paying for an upgraded model. Why do you have to pay for upgraded couplers on top of it? It's just nuts in my mind. So.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on Athearn here. It's all of the brands. I don't know of any brand that comes standard with KD couplers. They all have their own proto knuckle couplers, that are supposedly compatible, but they don't work with us shit.
Don't scale trains come with KD couplers?
I don't think so. They might. I don't know.
I thought there was one that did come with the.
And then, okay. So scale trains. Here's a good one. They come with Loke sound, but you can get a DCC ready version. But the only problem is the only decoders that will work on it totally are the Loke sound decoders. All right. If you try putting a Soundtrax decoder into the plug for the DCC ready motherboard on the scale trains, the lights don't work right because there's a chip in there that's not compatible with Soundtrax. Right. Now, if you're buying a NMRA compatible, locomotive, it ought to work with any NMRA chipset. So, just pisses me off. Don't get me started.
I'm sorry, but I won't mention scale trains again.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not picking on scale trains either. I think they have a great product. And by far, and by far probably the best, I won't say best managed, but most open and honest manufacturer.
Mm.
I mean, they air out their dirty laundries and work to correct it, and their corrections are usually above and beyond.
Yeah, I need to. I know their main office is here in Tennessee, down closer
Just
to
north, yeah,
Chattanooga.
just north of Chattanooga off of
Yeah,
75.
yeah, I need to try to go down there sometime.
Yeah, it's not that far from you.
No, no,
So
and and I'm starting to see some of the manufacturers start to do like the F7, start to manufacture some of the older engines that you know, Athearn
new,
doesn't anymore, or
yeah, the new Athearn, the old Athearn F7s didn't have windows in it, right?
mm-hmm.
These new Ready Roll ones have window sets in them.
Yeah,
So, now they
but
will not have the steam generators because lo and behold, most A unit F units didn't have steam generators. Okay?
mm-hmm.
That was done on the B units. So instead of having to shave off all the A unit steam generators, they just decided not to do it.
Mm, yeah, but
And
again,
personally,
I
I don't care because the CB and Q only ran F units for a very limited time period before they figured out, no, we don't want these for passenger service, and went over to the E units.
mm-hmm. Well, I was listening to What's Neat This Week, and Ken Patterson was talking about when he started model railroading, he was trying to always
Correct,
keep
Bernard.
up with the newest items out, and he
Uh-huh.
finally decided, hey, that costs too much. So that's when he picked a time period to model.
Newest meaning most modern.
A modern, yes. Yeah.
And uh, so if he started modeling in the 80s, here we are in 2020 and or the 2020s, he'd have all these locomotives off multiple generations,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he was talking about being too expensive. Just stay with stay with a specific time period, and the more you close it down, the less expensive it'll be for you. So, and then
Yeah.
pick a railroad, because not
Mm-hmm.
every railroad had every model of stuff,
Correct.
and locations, and the more you narrow it down, the less expensive it's going to be for you, basically.
Yeah, my wife wasn't happy when she found out that the time period I picked both had steam and diesel. uh, so yeah, I got her there, but
Yeah. Well, I got a couple things. I talked about, um, and I'm trying to see if I got a view that would show it, but I really, maybe this one, and I go over this way. Okay, so over here, boop, 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 boop. I've talked about an L platform. For those that aren't familiar with that, it's elevated tracks. It's the light rail system that that's in Chicago. Okay, that makes up the loop around downtown, and travels out north, south, east, west. Not east. That's Lake Michigan. But anyway, so my representation is going to be here. Okay, and lo and behold, there is a company that makes them. Okay. So I went ahead and purchased from ITLA. They make two versions of this. They make a New York City version and a Chicago version. And the difference being that the Chicago version, the girder work is all open, where on the New York version, they're like solid I-beam type construction. So I did get that. And of course, it arrived like 20 minutes after we closed out last Friday's schedule.
Now, Steve, how long does that section do? Do you need multiple packs or?
Funny you should say that, because of the fact they do make an expansion pack. All right. And the difference, of course, being the original starter set here has 4 legs, and then this goes on to the end. Both of these together will fit almost perfectly this area back here.
And that's going to be removable also?
Yes.
Okay.
And it'll have there'll be dual tracks on it, and they'll be powered but not powered, because it's only 18 inches long, so it really doesn't need power to move something on it. It's even too short really for a motorman. But I want power on it because I will put this dummy trolley that I have back here. Okay. I will put this dummy trolley on it, and the dummy trolley does have a light in it. So if I put power to the tracks, the light will work on the dummy. So
now they weren't trolleys up there though, right? They were
no.
Like a subway car.
Yeah, light rail car. Now you notice that one didn't have a trolley pole on it. If you would have been paying attention.
Well,
you weren't paying attention.
No.
Okay.
I was on the phone. Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't have a trolley pole on it. Actually, I'll have to add in, if I want to make it prototypical, I'll have to add a third rail on one side to represent the third rail where the power was generated from. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that. But that's like a Craftsman kit. That's a laser cut wood kit. So, and I don't think, other than the deck, there's a couple things ITLA made for mini prints, for Bernard's mini print kits. That those are the only wood kits I've ever done that I can remember anyway. So it should be an interesting build.
And Steve, I think I told you I'm now a subscriber to Mini Prints. So when do they come out?
Once a month. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember when the last one was. It shouldn't be too long from now. Then next week or two, I'm sure.
Okay. I remember you were talking when you first started. It was kind of a long delay before you got your first one.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half before I got the first one. And that's all a matter of timing.
Yeah.
You know, when you sign up as to when they're shipped. So
yeah.
It was probably, when I signed up, it was too late to ship the most current. All right. So I had to wait till the following month. And then, anyway, it just took a while. So. Nisi just submitted her peanut butter lid contest. If I had enough time, I've got the lid here. I just haven't had the time to work on it. So, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm busy working on other things. All right, Anthony. Seem whomever, whenever. Yeah, I'll be tuning in probably late like normal to your stream, probably 5:30ish or thereabouts. So.
And I just myself have to make a list of all these live streams because I can never keep them straight on who's on when. So,
well, if you subscribe to the channels and then put the notifieds on, you know.
I try to,
Okay.
but I'm not always
Sidetrack Sunday is Sunday nights.
Yeah,
he has his own live stream. He's not only for Sidetrack, but his own one on on Tuesdays at 8.
Yeah, see,
Let's
I can
see.
never watch him live because he's on the exact same time as Curse of Oak Island. So I have to watch his in delayed mode.
Well, I'm typically watching everybody on the replay because by 8 o'clock at night I'm in my
And
in my recliner.
and
So except
did
on Wednesdays.
Nisi did a real good job when she was on Sidetrack Sundays last week. I
She
watched.
did. Her premiere
Yeah.
appearance was excellent, I thought.
Yes. And the guys didn't roughhouse her too much.
She roughs house the guys.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good.
she puts the guys in their place. That's always the fun thing.
Yeah.
You got the what is it? Wilmer and Dave and Robert and Redbird Tony on Tuesdays at 8 or 7. Tuesdays at 7. Let's see. Wednesdays is it's on Wednesday. Wednesdays is Caboose Stop and the Derailed Daryl and crew. What's it called?
Oh.
Crew Cab Wednesdays. Let's see. Thursdays. Dave at Crooked River Valley has his morning cup of coffee stream. And Jim Tedesco at night. I think it's 6 or 7 at night. Jim Tedesco has his. Friday, of course, you got me. You got Anthony Dodge at 3:30. You got cousin Vinny at 8. And then there's others that come on. The Twin City Model Railroad group, which is Thomas Split Rock Mining. That group is on. I forget when the what is it, section crew, Andy Dorsch and crew. I forget when theirs is on. I think it's Tuesdays after
Yeah, I
heat.
think it is. Yeah, I think it is Tuesdays.
Uh, um, then you got everybody else's. You got premiere stuff. You got my comes out on Tuesdays, typically 11:30. A lot of things happen on Tuesdays. You got mine. You got Peter Lloyd Lee. You got just a whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, just click on the subscribe and notify, and you'll figure it out and learn. Hello, Randall. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Nisi. It really was good, though. Not just saying that.
I was just saying it to be polite, Nisi. No, you know better. You did a great job. I'm gonna turn my, it's hell when you're January and February and you got to turn AC on.
Yeah, I don't have anything turned on right now. It's a perfect temperature inside the house, so it's not bad at all. We only had some real cold winter weather right around Christmas, snow, and my brand new emergency heat and my AC unit didn't work, and yeah, it got a little cold in here, but at least I have a fireplace, so I was able to.
Well, Ink, I'm right behind you. I'm at 384, I think. So I'm chasing you. Claude at Cowboy River is, I think he just passed 300. I think he's around 315. There's a bunch of us right in that 300 range. Chilly is a relative term.
I have noticed that I am starting to climatize up here. Yesterday it was probably in the 50s, maybe a little less, but we had a real strong wind. But I was out there in the t-shirt. felt good. It's much better than -6. So you climatize pretty quick. I thought it'd take me longer being in Florida for 52 years and um, being in the heat
Yeah,
all the time. But
growing up in Illinois and Iowa, it wasn't cold until it got below zero.
mm. Now we do have a chance of snow here again. I think it's Saturday night. So, but we'll deal with it. One thing good about Middle Tennessee, it usually doesn't last long. It's almost like the fronts coming through in Florida, where you have a few cold days and then it warms right back up. So
Man, right back at you, Lynn.
So what's after you get Chicago done, Steve? What's your next endeavor?
Well, Chicago still has. I'm months and months and months away from finishing Chicago. All right. But I still have, as you well know, John, I got that cover that goes over the workbench, which
Hmm.
is ultimately going to be the suburban town of downtown area of Downers Grove. All right. So I still have that to do. Um, but there's always tons of other stuff. I will end up replacing a bunch of my trees as time
Okay.
goes on. Um, just upgrading them a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah, they were getting pretty dusty, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, cleaning is probably the biggest thing I need to do. Uh, and that's just due to the building process.
Hmm.
I got, I need to clean my computer. All right. Get the vacuum out and the blower and blow that thing out and vacuum it up.
Yeah, I have to keep a nice brush here to keep cleaning things. It's still dusty, even though it's a newer house. It's still as dusty as my old house. Got too many pets. Oh, Steve's typing away.
For Lynn,
Of course, I'm sure Lynn gets pretty cold up there in his neck of the woods.
in the high desert regions, yeah, I bet it does. Get a little chilly at night.
Yeah. Well, my next step is really to get the roundhouse started. At least the base put down. I'm
Well,
gonna
you've
be.
got it started. You just need to start it
Uh,
correctly.
that's true, and I'm not going to put anything down until I'm satisfied with the alignment, because I got to have my track coming into it, and I want to know exactly where I want to put it before I
Yep.
putting it
Once
down.
you get your once you get your bases done and lined up properly, and it's not that hard. All right. Then you put your rails in, and all I did was I took some flex track and stripped off the ties for the
Hmm.
section that was in the roundhouse, and then
Right.
left the ties on for the section that went out to the turntable.
Yeah, and
And then
that's
I
that's what I'm gonna do. I've got a bunch of sections of Code 83 track that I bought just for expanding my roundhouse. So I got that taken care of. Um, I figured I needed one piece of track for two stalls, so I think that will work out. Hopefully, if not, I'll have a lot of short pieces of flex track. I have to take them and solder all them together. But
huh, interesting, Jared. I didn't know schools still had industrial arts. They should, but I didn't know they did.
And Lynn, 120 degrees in the summer? Boy, it's a dry heat. Well, okay, well,
Yeah.
as long as it's a dry heat, 120 is okay. Yeah. I start sweating when it's 60 degrees, so.
It has there's never been a day with a recorded high for Tampa Bay uh, in the hundreds, 3 digits.
Yeah, I can't ever remember one.
No, that's fact. It's never happened. All right, since
There
they
were
started.
there were a lot of 99s though and 98s, but
Yep. Well, part of it is it's very hard to get it above 100 when you have high humidity.
yeah.
Uh,
And,
most of your triple digit places will have very low humidity.
and then in St. Petersburg we were on a peninsula, so we always had a breeze. Either it was from the Gulf or from the bay, so there was always air moving, which helped some.
Yep.
134 degrees, yeah.
I'll
No,
pass.
no thanks, Lynn.
I'll pass.
They always say you can always put on enough clothes. It's just hard to take off enough clothes.
Yeah, you get arrested for that.
Yeah. Plus, you gross a lot of people out, too, so at least I would.
Makes sense, Jared. Makes sense. As far as it's a simple, or if you know engineering and physics, figuring out how to pick up excess ballast is rather easy. Okay, if you know the weight or the specific gravity of the ballast that you're going to be using, right, then you can calculate what airflow or vacuum is needed to pull it up. Then you can calculate the given force applied or suction to the gap between the end of the nozzle and on the circumference, which would spread the vacuum velocity out, and you then would have the vacuum calculation or velocity at any given point along the tracks, and then you just need to have an adjustment either through airflow or motor speed to adjust it to what setting you want to be able to suck up how deep of the area you want to pull the ballast up from. And as long as you're in the neighborhood, you're going to have some success with that.
And now to repeat what Steve just said in terms, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, Mr. Engineer, is it accurate or not?
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people know how to do those calculations, Steve.
And I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So,
but if people were wondering how it's done, how can somebody do it? It's doable.
Yes, and the one guy that's doing the train station in England, and I can't remember his name.
Tony Northeastern.
No, he's
Simon. No, not Simon.
No, I can't remember his name right now, but he has produced a vacuum head for sucking up ballast.
Uh-huh.
And he did all those airflow calculations and cyclone of. He added in the cyclone ability to actually separate the grains from going into the collector, the dust collector. And he went over that in several of his videos that he was explaining how he was designing this. So
he's bought one of those ballast vacuums that I'm sure the designer went through all that rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you're
to me, you can use buy one of the vacuum spreaders. All right. Oh, I'm old. I'm getting older. You buy one of the vacuum spreaders. I mean, these things work good. I think. Uh, Use one of these. Put it down. A soft brush to touch it up a little bit. Put your glue down and just vacuum up what doesn't stick the next day.
Hmm.
So it's not rocket science.
And I've found that I've got one of the little Ryobi battery powered shop vacs.
Uh huh.
And I find that works real well for the model railroad. Plus, you can move it around easily. It has enough suction to pick up any debris that you want to pick up, but it won't over take your ballast. So
Uh-huh.
it works real well. And then when I do static grass, I just put a nylon sock in the end of the tube, and I recollect all the static grass that doesn't stick. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
can
Yep. Yep.
reuse it. So it does work. Um, my normal shop vac would be too strong.
Jared, it just goes to show you Iowa State is an excellent university. They taught me how to say blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Is
As compared to University of Iowa, which was like, wow, man.
when I was working in Pinellas County, we had this one gal that she was not an engineer, and she would go to these public meetings, and I think she would look up every big word she could say. And you've got to speak to your audience. She was using words where 90% of the people had no idea what she was saying. And I had to tell her one time, speak to your audience. They don't understand that. Just tell them what's happening in layman terms, and you'll get more response from them. But a lot of engineers do that. They don't speak to the level of their audience. They want to throw in all the big words.
Yep,
So
that's true.
I
Very
guess
true.
I guess with me, since I didn't get my engineering degree until I was 42, um, I understood that, where the engineers that went straight from high school to college to working never figured that out. They just figured they were writing papers again, and wanted to use all the big words to impress the professors.
Yep.
Um, Now, I think I did explain on my roundhouse what I was going to do with the lighting a couple weeks ago. I've still got those to make
So
up.
hi, 1 second. Hi, what did Joe win for being number 350? Inquiring minds want to know. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
Oh, it's okay. No, uh, but I'm still working on how I'm going to. Am I going to run them into a bus system, uh, so I can connect all the wires? Do I want to go with being able to turn on individual sections of lights, or do I want to go with turning on the light as the track power gets turned on? Because I do plan on having each of the stalls to be able to be turned off. I know that's a lot of wiring to do, but I've already bought all the switches to turn them on and off, so I may think about running the light system with the track power.
If well, no, I would. I would not put lights on the track power.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, within the same switch. I don't know that I could do that. I probably
oh,
have
that
separate switches.
my whole room, okay, is on one circuit with it goes through one smart plug. So I walk in, I tell the A lady to turn on the trains, okay,
Mm.
and so the trains come on. All right. Now the photo cell timer doohickeys for the lighting are tied into that circuit. Okay. So as long as trains are on, when it's dark enough, the lighting comes on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's great for most everything. But there are situations, as you and I have discussed, like Union Station and the platforms down below, where I'd like to be able to have those on a switch to be able to turn those on manually, even if it's light in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because they're down underneath things. And with Union Station being detailed on the inside, you can't see that detail if the lights aren't on.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be going back and adding another bus that's not on the photo cells, 12-volt bus that's not on the photo cells, uh, where I can turn those on off of a switch, which I already have mounted right here, by the way. All right, I had an extra switch and an extra place to mount. So when I mounted the other one that is in that panel, I just went ahead and put the other in there, and it's blank right now. So all I have to do is run from my transformer that I use to run the 16-volt accessories, which is the turntable and the smoke generators, um, and the DC variable for the test track. No, it's not on that. But anyway, it's all right there. So all I have to do is connect that up and run it from right down there around to under here. And, it's 10 feet maybe of wire.
Mm-hmm.
So, a pair. Hey, Alan at Mason Dixon. Welcome.
Well, I plan on running power from one of the computer power supplies, so I have multiple different voltages running under my track. And
Yeah.
yes, if I would have gone with all 12-volt stuff, I could have just ran one. But I've got multiple different lights that require different power, and I'll just run the bus lines. It's only money, right?
Yeah. Now, if you want to keep your layout modular or sectional, however you want to label it, um, you're going to need a daisy chain between terminal strips.
Right. But on the
Then you're
layout,
going to have multiple terminal strips for each one of your type of buses that you want.
well, for this layout in here, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Uh, when I do the big layout, if and when I ever get my train shed, um, that's when I'll run all the multiple
Are you going
bus.
to run block detection and lights signals?
I may. It all depends on what finances is. It's only money.
I'd for the small cost of the terminal strips, I'd put a terminal strip in for every one of your buses for every section. Doesn't mean you have to do anything special other than put those in.
Mm-hmm.
Because to go back and change it out later is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I would have done it. That's why I'm suggesting it for you.
Okay. Well, that's in the future, so I will definitely think about that. And of course, remember you said when I get my train shed, you were going to come up and help me build
I'm
the
gonna come up in
benchwork.
April, so you better get your train shed.
Yeah, that isn't happening by April.
Well,
But
I'm coming in April.
well, we can still work on the one in here.
All right,
You know.
we can do that. I don't know when in April yet.
Well, and it doesn't really matter to me because I'm here most of the time. Uh, yeah, don't get out much anymore. No. But yeah, I hope to as soon as it warms up a little bit, where I can consistently work outside to cut my legs for my boards. I still have the boards in the shed that I had in Florida. I just got to adapt them to work in this new shape of a room. So it it'll work. I just got to do some modifying. Of course, my layout at the house in Florida, the ones along the wall were all mounted on the wall. Well, this time I'm going to do legs for them because I don't want to go putting that many holes in my wall here. It didn't matter at the house because I thought I was going to stay there. So I'm sure the lady that bought the house enjoyed doing all the patchwork on the walls.
Uh-huh. All right.
It
All right, Jared. Have fun on a frosty Iowa day.
yeah.
Lynn Heath was telling me that the old Tyco transformers, those power supplies are not stable and can cause damage. And I use it to power the tracks for the motormen when it's in a DC configuration. Is that a correct statement? Yeah. For
Yes.
DC power. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like it's on all the time or anything. And all it's powering is that cheap, there's no chipset or anything in that trolley, so I'm not really worried about it.
Mm.
So same thing with lighting, I would venture a guess. So the only problem with the old Tyco ones I have is it's got variable DC power, right, by the rheostat, and fixed AC, 16 volt AC, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas my MRC much upgraded transformers have DC 12 volt DC fixed, 12 volt DC variable, and 16 volt AC fixed. And so I use those one on the Aurora section of the layout and one over for the rest. And like I say, that does a minor amount. Originally, it was doing the lighting, but I took it off of the lighting circuit and put those on the exterior landscape light photocell power packs. So, which do a much better job.
And Lynn says he doesn't use the AC side anyway.
Yeah. If you were running like Atlas, if you're running solenoid style switches, they require the AC. But if you're running DC switch motors like a Tortoise, then you wouldn't do that. Now I run my DC. I run my all my Smales off of a Digitrax booster. Okay, so it powers and provides the DCC commands for them because they're not Tortoises, they're Smales. But anyway, that's here nor there.
Yeah, and I also have the 20 amp PS 2012E transformer that I can use for. I use that for my track power.
Hell, my MRC. Oh, it's a Model 500 MRC throttle pack, and I got two of them.
Okay.
And they're circa 1968-ish, and still humming along.
Yeah. I need to hook up my DCC to this system soon. Right now, since I'm just installing track, I've been running DC on it. And
the other thing I use the 16 volt AC on is the smoke units. The smoke generators at the brewery and meatpacking plant. because it makes them smoke a whole lot more than the 12 volt.
And you haven't had any problem with them overheating?
No, I don't leave them on that long.
Okay.
They'll burn out before they overheat. I
Okay.
did burn one out, but it didn't melt down. It's just the little filament thing in there went bad. So, and I still have another one to install. I picked it up. I thought I was picking up a chimney smoke generator like I have, but what I actually bought was a smoke generator for a locomotive from Caboose Stop. Same manufacturer and everything, just a little bit different style. And it also had the circuit board that that runs the damn thing. So see how that works out eventually.
Yeah, I guess you just have to have a place to install that circuit board to get it to work correctly. But you don't need it to chuff any.
True. True. All right. Well, we're closing in on an hour and a half, and I've gone through all my stuff. I will have a really cool mail call next week. But the one thing we have not covered, and I vowed I was going to do it at the very beginning and forgot, is the YouTube meet and greet, Greely, Colorado, May 19th through 23rd.
And you're going out to it, Steve?
Still trying to figure it out. I've got to be in Indiana in June. I got to be in Minneapolis in July, and I really wanted to go to the NMRA national in Dallas in August. So obviously I can't do everything. So I got to figure out which one. Yeah, exactly, Joe. Almost nap time. You read my mind. By the way, Joe, that was really cool and very nice of Roy, that package you got. So, but anyway, you can't for a person that's into model railroads or rail fanning. I cannot imagine a better trip than going out there for that. I mean, you got the Model Railroad, Colorado Model Railroad Museum, Michelle Kempema, and she's having a barbecue at her house one night. And, you got the Union Pacific tracks go right by there. I think it's an hour and a half away up to Cheyenne to the Union Pacific rail yard up there and the Big Boy, where it's stored at. You got multiple scenic railways, including the Durango and Silverton, the Cumbres and Toltec, and there's others. Within a day's drive of. So if you're going up there, I would plan on spending some extra time and going to one of those. As you can see from my hat, I went to the Cumbres and Toltec and loved it. It was a full day adventure. You you can either start at Chama, New Mexico, or you can start at Antonito, Colorado. And basically the tracks hug the state border and goes up over the Continental Divide. And up near the Continental Divide is a waypoint that you stop at for lunch. And it's a cafeteria style, and it's very good food. It's not your institutionalized crappy food. It's institutionalized, but it's good food. And then you go back down the other way, and no matter which side you start from, you take a bus back. Okay, so you get in, and it's about an hour and a half bus ride from one to the other. You typically leave at 8 in the morning from one side, and you get in 3:30 or so at the other side, and then you take a bus back to where you started from. Or I think you can also go up from one side or another and go back the same way you came, so you only get to see half of it. I will say that the Chama, New Mexico side is more scenic, just because it's already in the mountains and forests and so forth. Whereas when you start in Antonino, you're up on the high plains, and you're looking at it going, well, this doesn't look very scenic. But after a while, as you start to climb up into the mountains, it is very, very nice. Okay? And you can see some valleys that the only way in and out of them is by horseback. Right, some ranches back in there and so forth. So it's pretty cool. And Durango and Silverton, of course, is famous. And you got soundtracks out there, right there in Durango as well. So just so much to do up there. As long as you're up, if you're going between Greely and Cheyenne, you go by Evanston, Wyoming, which everybody. A lot of people, Roy models the Evanston subdivision, and so does Darryl Cruz, and so very, very scenic as well. So, but if I went there, I'd probably spend most of my time at the Coors Brewery.
With the free samples.
All right, JB, yeah. Nothing's ever free. You still have to pay for the tour, so
yeah.
I'm sure that's the cost is included in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when they used to do that at Busch Gardens. I don't think they do that anymore, though.
Yuengling?
Yeah.
I think they do. Because the brewery, Yuengling bought the brewery.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know of a brewery that doesn't do it. Let's put it that way. Big brewery.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've been to a number of them: Lone Star, Pearl, Pabst Blue Ribbon up in Milwaukee. There used to be a Budweiser brewery in Houston I went through. I think I went through the Miller Brewery in Milwaukee as well. I had a buddy that one of my high school close friends attended Marquette University, so we'd go up there and do the brewery tours, get half in the bag on those, and then you do the Death March, which this road that went in front of or out from the Pabst Brewery, I think, was lined with bars on one side, on both sides. So you'd have to have a beer at each one and see if you could get down down the block on one side and back on the other. I can.
Yes,
I was a fair drinker, all right, and I couldn't do it. So
yeah. Yes, Nisi, the old hospitality house. That is correct.
Cool, then. Yep. All right, well, we're going to wrap her up, and I can take my nap.
Yes, can't miss that.
Stay tuned Tuesday, tip of the day. It will not be on the Chicago Main Post Office. It will be on one of 3 other ones I have in the hopper. So I'm trying to space things out a little bit. But some good information, I think, anyway. So with that, I want to thank you for joining John and I here at our live stream and the Retirement Railroad. And y'all have a great day. Edward, you're just in time to see us wave bye-bye.
Y'all have a good day.
Later, all.